So nice twice. We decided to do it thrice. You lucky, lucky, lucky SOBs.
I changed my hat this time, though.
It's because you have class.
Mm-hmm.
No sweaters.
No, that's right.
That's for review purposes only.
Yes.
It's Q&A time. Remember, if you want your questions answered on future Q&A videos, just go on to Twitter, tweet them to us. Our Twitter handle is @OffTheRopeShow.
Or send us a good old-fashioned letter in the mail.
To your address?
Yes. It'll be posted down below.
Would that address happen to be Metal D's mailing address?
It could or couldn't be. His place of business.
Some random place of business. Yeah, what do you guys think about CM Punk versus The Undertaker? And it'll be some, like, strip club. It'll be the Lumberyard.
Yes.
All right. So let's go Q&A time. @StephenToth18. Have you guys seen the E60 documentary on Scott Hall? If so, have you?
Bits and pieces, yes.
Yeah, I'll watch the whole thing. If so, what are your thoughts on Scott Hall's problems?
I think it's a fair thing to show on ESPN Classic or one of the ESPN channels. It is a sports-related issue. It does have relevancy in pop culture. And it was interesting to see, some guy, that had it all and pretty much pissed it all away.
It also talks about how, I think it really does a good job of dealing with what the devil of addiction really is and the demons of it, and, how it can you do so many things that fly in the face of logic and good sense, and, it's sad.
And
That's the best way to say it.
And there should be more guys like DDP out there who are going to bat for their comrades who are having problems and struggles, like he's done for Jake the Snake, and now he's reaching out to Scott Hall. And guys like that really have good intentions.
Yeah, let's hope we get some more of those guys out there.
Absolutely.
@Mark_the_fish. What are your top 5 tragic deaths in professional wrestling? Which one hits you maybe hardest as a fan, as a WWE fan?
Owen should be number 1.
Eddie,
He's in my book.
Eddie is high up on the list. Macho Man's high up on the list. Even though it's tragic in one sense, so I'll say Benoit. Because it was tragic in one sense.
Guys like Gorilla Monsoon. They lived full lives, but it was still sad to see them go.
Yeah, it was very sad. @Ahmed_LW. Do you think Shane McMahon will return to WWE someday?
Maybe as some on-air spots, but as an official employee of the company, no, because who's taking over.
Yep, I think he got to the point where he realized what was going on, and he realized Dad wasn't going away anytime soon, so he just said, it's time for me to try and do something else. @ASamSquanch. If you could, how would you book Alex Riley for next year? I'd get him on TV.
In a tag team.
Maybe with McGillicuddy.
Or Mason Ryan.
Something along those lines. Let's start off by getting the guy on TV.
Yeah, something small. God forbid.
Maybe wins an occasional
Truly,
match.
God forbid.
And God should be made aware of this horrendous situation. @David the Favorite. Do you think WWE using a teabagger gimmick as a heel is a sign that Linda gave up on her aspirations as a GOP politician?
No. She's going to run for something.
City Council in Stamford in Connecticut. They're only going to cost her $10 million. And by God, she's going to win it, say?
Well, for 7, she can get on the school board.
She might want to do that, too.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. She may have given up on the political aspirations. She may not have, but I wouldn't count her out yet. We'll find out in 2014. She could run for governor of Connecticut, I believe. That race is in 2014, I think. @ClutchShooter10. Will Dolph Ziggler ever be WWE champion?
There's a possibility.
Possibly.
I would say in the next, maybe, 3 years or so. When Cena finally runs out of gas. when CM Punk figures out that he's not the main attraction. You know, they're going to have to change the guard at some point, and I think in 3 years is a good time frame.
Sure. At Dante's 61,680, do you think the WWE will be better when Stephanie and Triple H take over?
Yes. Anything new right now would be better.
I think Triple H and Stephanie are taking over a lot more than people realize. Vince may have final say, but I think they're running a lot more, if I had to guess, a lot more of the day-to-day operations.
Yeah, I mean, you read interviews with Chris Jericho and how his last contract negotiations usually in the past have been with Vince McMahon and Vince McMahon only. This time was just with Triple H. And he said, you know, the direction of the company is going to be with Triple H, and Vince is just going to be a consultant.
Yeah. And I think at some point in time you're going to have it where Stephanie will be the CEO, Vince will be just the chairman of the board for the board of directors, and then Triple H will be the president that's actually running the day-to-day creative operations of it. That's what I would guess anyways. Could be better, could be worse. At least it'll be different. At Rising_Fire 2013, of all Undertaker's opponents throughout the street, who do you think came closest to being booked to win?
God. Either of the 3 times.
If I had to throw another possibility out there,
Shawn.
Besides Shawn, maybe Batista at WrestleMania 23, maybe Edge at 24, maybe. I would lean maybe more towards Batista at WrestleMania 23.
Definitely not Giant Gonzalez, though. Definitely not him.
Or King Kong Bundy.
No.
At Motorhead 94, it's Lemmy. Which feud do you think was better? Rock versus Austin or Hogan versus Savage?
Really a tale of 2 eras in my life, you know. You had Hogan and Savage when I was a kid, and when I was old enough to know better, it was Rock and Austin. You know, more fond memories of Rock and Austin, but I do take Macho in high regard, and I like the involvement of Miss Elizabeth, Mega Powers, and my favorite is Hogan Savage.
Hogan Savage, because you look at Rock and Austin, you know, it was like that was a feud, but a lot of times you threw Vince and Austin in there. I mean,
yeah, there wasn't the huge storyline behind it that you had, with Hogan Savage, with Miss Elizabeth, and the friendship and the turn and
the whole Mega Powers exploding was, a year and a half plus in the making by the time you got to WrestleMania 5. I think that was a better storyline. At NFX, how would you have booked this Tuesday in Texas Survivor Series 91? I wouldn't have had Tuesday in Texas. I'd have actually had Jake versus Macho Man on Survivor Series 91. Damn it. Damn them. I can't wait to do a review of Tuesday in Texas. At Firehawk 0331, do you think the WWE would ever have done or would do a Hogan versus Cena match?
No.
I think they would have at one point in time. I kind of believe the stories of maybe WrestleMania 25. Would I have been interested? Maybe.
Were they doing it at 30? No.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the other part of the question.
Hogan is way too hurt.
Well, he's still under contract with TNA,
and
so regardless.
I think Vince is too butthurt about it anyway.
But would they have ever done it? Maybe. Would it have been a good idea?
No.
I mean, because here's the thing. Cena already gets booed by half, sometimes more than half the crowd anyways. So I'm going to trot him out there against a guy who turned 60,000 Canadians against The Rock. Then I'm going to wonder what the result's going to be. Throwing it out there. Just throwing it out there. At Daniel Arberg, what's your favorite wrestling video game of all time? I never really played a lot of wrestling video games. That should have been a question for somebody else.
The arcade game.
Yes.
Yeah. Arcade game. I forget what the fuck it's called, but your whole deal is your tag team and whoever you wanted, and the Road Warriors were at the end, motherfuckers.
I forget some of the names, but yes, I actually like playing them at arcade better than I did like video games.
And if you guessed that I picked Randy Savage and Mr. Perfect, you guessed correctly.
You too?
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine that. Great minds think alike. At Colton587, did you guys like the show Dragon Ball Z?
Next question.
No, don't care. Just never watched. Didn't care. At Wrestling Team, what does the Schleg Daddy think of Machine Gun Kelly? Don't care. Sorry, I just don't.
Macklemore's better.
Whatever. At the Ultimo Gringo, will Jake the Snake Roberts be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame while he's still alive? Yes, I would hope so.
Well, now at his current pace, I think he will.
Yeah, I hope so. I would hope it would be this year or next year, though.
It won't be this year.
At I Am Joe Dub, who do you think will give us the next epic match?
I don't think Sin Cara is going to have very many more matches.
Kofi Kingston. Because there's many, it's kind of like an earthquake where you've got all these tremors. And then you're going to have the big one, then tremors afterwards. We're about due for a big one. So, epic match, maybe Kofi Kingston. I know you'd like to say somebody like RVD or John Morrison.
Yes, but they will never have a career. Nor should they ever have had one.
At Ultra Heroics, what do you think of the gimmick rings WCW used, like over pools and the special cage from the regular Ready to Rumble movie? Ready to Rumble.
Something different.
I wish WWE would try some different things now.
As long as it gets a reaction.
Are you using that Briscoe logic?
Briscoe logic. Look it up.
At Clutch Shooter 10, would you be interested to see a fatal four-way match between Ziggler, Bryan, Punk, and Jericho for a world title?
Maybe if you took out Punk.
Well,
and if it was an elimination, maybe.
Somewhat, but not a ton. A lot more of you watching this video would have great interest in it. Fine. It's not my flavor. At Walls of Jericho 3, what's your favorite match that God himself is in? Mine's a SummerSlam 2002 street fight with HBK.
That's definitely high up there. You know, some of the matches he had with Jericho, you know, you could see that they had personal tension. They put on good matches. You know, it's hard to say. What?
WrestleMania 12 versus
Oh. Oh, yeah.
Ladder match with Triple H and Rock at SummerSlam 98 for the IC title.
Okay.
Hell of a match. What was it? Was it SummerSlam 97? It was Triple H versus Foley. Another great match. Frankly, WrestleMania 20. Another great match. Some of those. WrestleMania 28. Him and Taker for the third and final time. Him and Taker the first time at WrestleMania 17.
No, they don't count that one.
Oh, and by the way, Brett's a fucking moron. He said Triple H isn't in his top 1,000 wrestlers of all time. Give me a fucking break. Bret Hart said that.
That came out of nowhere.
Well, talking about greatest matches, and I looked at you and your Bret mark.
Triple H would be in my top 1,000.
Thank you. At Dakota Did You. You've been talking a lot about Honey Beef Mode. If we get Honey Beef Mode at Mania, what would the match be and what's the finish? Awesome?
Yeah.
And best ever. Clearly the finish. At Odd Meter Beater, would we get some chicken nugget power maybe?
That's a good possibility.
Some Fajiggle Jaggle?
Yes. Fajiggle Jaggle and Uncle Pooh.
At Odd Meter Beater, if any living wrestler promised to answer a question of yours, what would your question be and who would it be directed to?
It would be to...
It would be to Bret Hart. Can I touch your wee-wee?
No, it would be to Rob Van Dam, and the question would be, why don't you die? Go away. Stop doing this. Get off television. Go away.
It would be Hulk Hogan, and I would say, you remember that time that you wrestled at Pontiac Silverdome against Andre the Giant? And, yeah, you body slammed him in front of 93,173 people. That's pretty cool, huh? That's exactly what I'd fucking ask him. First question. All right, so continue to submit your questions to us on Twitter. Twitter handles @OffTheRopeShow. I don't think you'll be with me for the next one, but it's been real.
It's been real fun, too.